Hello. Good evening to everyone. Tonight we want to talk about depression and its lingering effects. All right. So you're sipping with Shakita on tonight. So let's talk. I want you to go in and subscribe and like any of the podcasts as well as the YouTube channel. So go ahead and let us know what you think. Also put some comments in the comment box as well as you while you're doing your likes and subscribe. But tonight we want to briefly talk about depression and its lingering effect. As we know, depression is definitely something that a lot of us experience on a day-to-day basis. And it's something that's hard. It's something that causes people to shut others out when that's really not a good thing, but that they think that they need to be alone. So we want to talk about tonight these types of things because we want people to understand that depression is real and depression needs to be taken care of. A lot of people think you'll just get over it. Of course you can if you got a good support and you're letting people to into what's going on with you. You can definitely make it through, but when you're shutting people out, that's when the issue begins, and that's when you can fall into a deep slumber, which can cause different things to take place. And I will go into some of those detailed signs that you can watch out for, so you can see if you have depression. But once you find out that you might have those symptoms, it's imperative that you go get taken care of and find out exactly what you need to do as far as taking care of depression. Now tonight, as you see, I don't have my sidekick. I know some of you looking for him, but he might be on the next one on next week. But tonight, let's go ahead and get started. Now, as we know, some people struggle with feelings of loneliness or constant sadness. I want you to understand, you're not alone. Some people just go through these different things. They have different outbursts. 1 minute they're happy, next minute they're sad. They're feeling like, just some kind of way. And we got to understand too that depression can lead to bipolar symptoms as well. So we want to get this taken care of and nipped into the bud as soon as you find out that you're battling with some of these things, because what depression does, it comes from when different traumatic experiences happen in your life. As last week we talked about stress and anxiety. And as you learn about stress and anxiety, you learn also that traumatic experiences causes those things, whether it's a loss of a child, loss of a loved one, a husband or whoever, or loss of a wife, whether it's through, divorce or whatever the case may be, walking out on you, whatever the case may be, you can experience the stress and anxiety. Those things can overtake you. When those things begin to overtake you, it leads to depression. So we want you to understand that depression is very serious. But I want to go into the definition of depression, and I want to make sure I get my scripture in. So I have 3 John chapter 1 verse 2, and it says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper." We know that the Father in heaven wants us to prosper. He wants us to be in good health. So we want to be a whole person. In order to be a whole person, we need to understand when we need help, let's get help. There's nothing wrong with help. So don't let pride come in, whereas you say, you know what, I don't need help. I don't want anybody's help. I'd rather be alone. I'll deal with it on my own and I'm okay. That's not true. You're not okay. So let's take the steps to get seen about, okay? So depression means it's a feeling that nothing matters, that is so strong it interferes with one's ability to function in the world. That's school, that can be your work or your social life. Depression even makes you bound to bed. You just want to stay in the bed. You just don't want to get out of the bed. You don't want to eat. You don't want to be bothered by the children or your husband or your wife, your loved one, or anybody. You just want to be shut out. You just want to close your door, lock it up, and just say, you know what, I don't feel like being bothered. Leave me alone. Once that happens, you need to wake up, snap out of it. Say, you know what, I'm not going to allow myself to go into a deep depression, because deep depression can lead to so many different things. Now, I broke down some of these things. I want you to see where I'm coming from now. Self-care. Self-care is very important. Now, if you're feeling depressed and you're not taking care of yourself, you need to understand you are feeling defeated. When you begin to feel defeated, that means that you have clocked out, you have given up, you have just said, you know what, I'm not going to win this battle. I'm just tired. I'm just done. That's when you need to snap out of it. You need to just wake yourself up, shake yourself off, just say, you know what, it's over. I'm done. I got to do right. I got children. I got a spouse. I got church family who loves me. Mom, dad loves me. Grandparents, whomever loves me. And I need to get myself together because people need me. Even with going to work. Even at work, you might be snappy. You might, your coworkers might try to find out what's wrong, what's going on, and you just snappy. And they try to figure out like, whoa, what's wrong with her? What's going on? And it's all dealing with depression. When you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with something that's very serious. So some people don't get out of bed. They won't get dressed. Some people won't take care of their personal hygiene. Some people just don't do nothing. They just in a slumber. So you don't want to do that. But my next thing is I want you to understand that you need to let somebody in. Let somebody in, somebody that you can trust totally, with the things that you're going through, so you can just tell somebody. I've known people to tell me that one time they was at a bus stop, and just sitting there, and they was going through so many different things, and they were in and out of depression, and it was a strange lady just sitting there, and she just seemed like she was just a person that she can talk to. So she just let everything out and spoke to that person. And that person began to speak back into her and pour back into her. And she said at that moment, once that woman began to pour into her, she was like, oh my God, you're right. I need to get it together. So it's good. Even if it's a stranger. I mean, somebody you just don't know, somebody that's in passing that you'll never see again. And just blurt it out. Just say, you know what, can I talk to you? I'm just dealing with X, Y, Z, but you need to make sure you have a discerning spirit too, because you got some crazy people out there too. You don't want to talk to anybody, but the ultimate people that we want you to talk to are majorly the people that you trust, a family member, maybe your best friend, definitely, caregivers, healthcare people, counselors, your pastor, something like that. So you need to talk to those people who can really, pour into you, really talk to you and not tell your stuff. Because it's very important that when people pour into you and tell you what's going on with them, don't run and tell somebody, because somebody, that might damage them even more and put them more into a even more depressive state of mind, and it could even result as with suicide. And you don't want them to commit suicide or anything, because they feel like I just don't, nobody love me, I'm just not needed here, I'm tired, I don't feel like moving forward because I can't move forward. Because depression, what it does, it gets you stuck. Once it gets you stuck, it's just like you're stuck in a hole, a black hole, and you just can't see your way out. And that's what depression does. It makes you just feel just feel real bad. And not only that, guess what depression brings on also? Depression also brings on so much stress on your body, where you start having aches and pains. You begin to feel like you're just sick. You don't want to eat. You just feeling so icky. Just like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything. But let someone in. So you need to see that other humans are very important when it comes to depression. Talk to somebody. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody. People feel like they shouldn't tell anybody. Yes, we Christians now, one of the things we like to say to one another a lot of times, just take it to the Lord in prayer. Yes, definitely do that. Do that. Because he's the ultimate person that will listen and hear you out. But guess what? You still need a human touch. You still need somebody that you can reach out to, that you can just really talk to and pour out your heart to, because you just want some dialogue. You want somebody to, even if they're just being a listening ear, just as God's being our listening ear, but he also tells us things too, but through the word as well. So in reality, we want to talk how science keep maintaining the key aspects of your social life, but there's also something that's even more powerful, which is managing your depression. You got to manage your depression, because if you don't, you can go off on a deep end. Now, when you find yourself like that, like I said, call your best friend. Say, listen, girl, you know what? I'm going through this depression. It's trying to get me in the headlock. Let's go out. Let's get let's go to the mall, let's go shopping, let's do something. Get people involved where they can get you out of the house. Because I have a friend that said they felt like the house was keeping them hostage. The more they stayed in that house, the more they was feeling like, I can't even get out of the house. They couldn't even, leave the house because they were so bound to the house due to depression. And we would talk to them and say, listen, let's just go out, let's go out to eat, let's do this, let's do that. But it seemed like they just couldn't force themselves to do it. So what they did was found an outlet, which they did something that they really love doing, and that's writing. So what you have to do, you have to find that very thing that you love doing the most and start doing it. Just like we said last week about stress and anxiety. I like to write. I like to write short stories and poems, and I like to cook, bake, or whatever. So whatever I like doing, I try to do those things. If I find myself trying to allow depression to seep in, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let depression have our life, because once we allow depression to have our life, sometimes it's hard to get off of us. Now, my next thing is talk to a pro. So as we know, those are counselors, those are psychologists, those are your healthcare providers, those who you can go, get medications from, whatever. But you need to go and find that outlet. Go and talk to somebody. Like Charter by the Sea said, if you can't get help here, get help somewhere. So you need to get some kind of help. Because why? This is a mental health, and it's about health. You want to be healthy, just like we already mentioned in the scripture. He said, I wish above all else thou may prosper, even as your soul prosper. He wants you to be in good health. So that's the same thing with us. We want you to be in good health. We want you to be in good standing with yourself. We want you to love yourself. We want you to, think highly of yourself and just try to move forward. Just try to put one foot in front of the other. And I know sometimes it might seem hard, that you just really can't move forward. You really just can't, just do it. But get somebody that will hold you accountable and say, you know what, you're going to get up out of here. You're going to get out of this bed. You're going to go take a bath. You're going to do what you need to do. You're going to comb your hair. Matter of fact, let's go get our hair and nails done. Let's go out. Let's do whatever we need to do. So you need somebody that's going to hold you accountable, especially when they start realizing that you are suffering with depression. Because people watch you. They watch your mannerism. They watch how you do things. So they're used to you doing things a certain way. Say, for instance, especially if you're an outgoing person, one of them happy-go-lucky people, always smiling and keeping everybody else laughing and all of that stuff. When you stop doing all of those things, they are looking at you like, wait a minute, there's something wrong. So let me find out what's going on with them. And they'll begin to just get all in your business, whether or not you want them in your business, because they love you. So they want to know, listen, what's going on? Talk to me. Let's sip about this thing. Let's get this thing together. So they want to know, and they want you to tell them, because if you begin to open up to them, you begin to tell them, you'll realize the load that's falling off of your shoulder. You'll begin to say, ooh, wow, I feel better now that I told somebody. Because a lot of things you feel like are embarrassing, that you might not want to share, with people, whatever. So that's why I keep telling you and stressing, get somebody that you can trust, and go from there. If you can't trust, if you feel like you just can't trust nobody, then go to somebody that you don't know, like counselors, psychologists, whomever, but get some help, because this thing, when you're dealing with mental health, is very serious. You don't want to go down this road by yourself, because this is a slippery slope. When you get down in that slippery slope, it's hard to come out of it sometimes. So we need to get help. So let's talk to doctors, let's talk to the counselors, but we got to understand it's never too early and it's never too late to receive help. Now, I want you to see what the symptoms of depression are, okay? A lot of these symptoms we all deal with on a day-to-day basis. Because why? It's connected to what? Stress and anxiety. When you're dealing with stress and anxiety and you don't get it taken care of quickly, it leads to depression. When you get into depression, it can lead to destruction. So you don't want to be in a destructive behavior, because not only it's affecting you, but it's affecting your whole household, especially if you have a whole family, a husband and wife, children or whatever, or maybe you're single and you have children. But whatever you're going through is affecting the whole entire house. So get help, seek that help. Now, these things include a depressed mode most of the day. You're feeling sad, you're feeling empty, you're feeling hopeless, and you're also on the verge of tears. Now, let me talk about that. Sometimes you can be sitting there and I mean, you could just been having a fabulous day, just a great day. You just sit there and all of a sudden you just feel like crying just out of nowhere. That's depression. That's a part of being depressed. You just want to cry just out of nowhere. You feeling sad all of a sudden when in fact you was just having a good time and you was just around all of your friends and your family, and you just all of a sudden just want to cry. Depression. So that's something that I want you to understand. It causes mood swings. Mood swings are caused by depression. Now, another thing is loss of interest or pleasure in activities once you enjoyed. If you were an active person, you was always doing things, you were always out, having a good time or whatever, and all of a sudden those things stop, and everybody knows that you're a person that loves to go exercising, you're a person that's always out meeting people and doing different things or whatever, and you stop doing it cold turkey, you're in depression. So with that being said, you need to just say, you know what, I found myself feeling down. I found myself, just feeling like I don't want to do anything. I don't have any strength to do anything. What depression does, it also pulls things from you as far as your strength goes. It pulls away from you your family. It pulls so much away from you because you're blocking everybody out. Once you block everybody out, there's no outlet there. You don't have a rope that can pull you back in. You need something that's going to reel you back in. So what you need to do is let somebody in. Like I said, speak to the pros. Anybody that you know that you can trust. And I'm going to keep saying that throughout this podcast. Anybody that you can trust, talk to them. Spill your heart. Pour your heart out to them. And again, if you don't trust anybody, talk to the pros. Talk to those who can help you. Now, a lot of times what others experience too is weight loss. Sometimes you even gain weight. You might experience that loss of weight, or you might experience weight gain, because even when you eating, sometimes you overeat. You begin to just eat. So you're going to gain some weight because why? You're depressed. All of a sudden you got all of this weight on you. You don't even know why or how you got it. It's because you sat down and said, you know what? It's me and the TV. I'm going to eat all this ice cream all the time. I'm going to go to KFC somewhere, give me a lot of buckets of chicken. I'm just going in. It's just me and the food. So now you became a lover of food. Now, some of us, when we're going or experiencing depression, we experience weight loss. Why? Because we don't want to eat. We don't want to eat because we don't have that desire to eat. We don't have the appetite to eat. So some of those things just disgust us now because we're depressed. When you're depressed, you can go through those phases where you're just experiencing weight loss. And that's not healthy either. Gaining too much weight is not healthy. Losing too much weight isn't healthy. Then you want to just sleep on all of this. You want to sleep all day long. Morning, noon, and night. Morning, noon, and night. Morning, noon, and night. Never come out of your room. Again, it's all about that personal hygiene. It's all about sleeping, getting good rest. But when you resting too much, you're not taking care of your personal hygiene. You're not combing your hair. Anything that you're not doing that's supposed to be normal for your day-to-day activity, that's depression. So I want you to understand these are signs of depression. Now, another thing is, and I already kind of touched on it, is decrease or increase in appetite. You got to realize, listen, even if you don't feel like eating, eat at least a yogurt, something healthy, a fruit or something, but don't binge eat. Don't overeat. At least try to maintain your weight. Don't go up in weight and don't go down in your weight. Just try to maintain, but do not decrease in eating and do not increase in eating because that's very unhealthy. Now, another thing I want to talk to you about that is a part of the signs is difficulty sleeping or being overly tired. Now, when you have difficulty sleeping at night, that's you not being able to go to sleep. Why? Because your mind is racing. Your mind begin to race. You tossing and turning. You're just feeling so anxious. You're stressed out. You're just laying there, and you just trying to figure out, man, I need to count some sheep or something. You begin to count sheep. But you cannot still go to sleep. I don't care if you take melatonin. Some people I've heard take melatonin to go to sleep, and they still can't go to sleep. Why? Because the depression has deprived them of sleep. It has deprived them. So when you finally do drift off to sleep, you wake up overly tired, you're exhausted, you're fatigued, you're feeling like, oh, I just can't make it, I can't do nothing. You might even call in that day and say, you know what, I can't come in, I'm not feeling well. Why? Because you didn't get any rest. Now you're overly tired, you're overly feeling anxious and stressed out, because that stress is on your body when you do not get enough sleep or rest. I've heard a saying that says, when you're tired, there's nothing good but rest. You got to rest. You got to rest. So you having a loss of energy because you're fatigued and you lost that energy. Drink plenty of fluids. You know what? We don't understand that water is very critical to our daily life. We got to remember to drink water every single day, because what water does, it also filters out any impurities or anything that's going on with our body. It can also fight against these different things that's going on with us. Once we're fatigued and dehydrated, a lot of things can keep us, I like to call it bondage. It keeps us in bondage. It keeps us fighting, trying to figure out what's going on with us, because why? We're tired, we're fatigued, we're losing sleep. We either decreasing in our appetite or we increasing in our appetite. So we have to understand, we have to get help. Sometimes you might feel worthless or guilty. You might feel worthless or guilty. Even though sometimes, even if you are the issue of why you might be in the spirit of depression, you feeling guilty about it. Or maybe you weren't the reason why you feeling depressed or whatever, because somebody else caused you to fall into that slumber. But you still have to get up. You still got to dust yourself off. You still need to say, you know what? I might be going through this situation. I might be faced with these different traumatic experiences or whatever the case may be, but I got to fight. I got to fight for my children. I got to fight for my loved ones. I got to fight for myself, because I need to make sure that I am moving forward to everybody else, and everybody else can, feel the same love that I was given before I fell in this depression moment. So get out of depression, because people need you. You need yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So you have to be healthy, live a healthy lifestyle, eat good, eat healthy, drink plenty of fluids and water. Now you might have a lack of concentration or difficulty with decision making. So that's something big. Lack of concentration. We talked about that also with stress and anxiety. A lot of times we can't focus, we can't concentrate, we're forgetful. Our mind's going through so many different things. So we're trying to figure out what do I supposed to be doing? What am I doing? You can't remember. You have difficulty in making decisions. Sometimes somebody might say, "What do you want to do today?" Or whatever case may be, you might need to be making a decision, and you can't even make the decision because you're not focused. So you're looking for somebody else to make a decision. And a lot of times when we're depressed, people asking us different things, you'll just say, whatever, I don't care, just whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. And they know a lot of times you're the main one that can spurt out exactly what you want to do throughout that day or whatever the case may be. But once you keep saying whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter, and you do it constantly, you're in depression. You're in depression. Now, my last one, thoughts of death or suicide. This is a very big one. I want to leave this for the last portion of this segment. The lack of the thoughts of death and suicide. Suicide is on a very high rise right now as we speak. We need to understand that some people are sitting right next to you, might be contemplating death, suicide. They're thinking about, how can I get rid of myself? Nobody loves me. Nobody wants me. My wife left me. My husband left me. My children walked off and left me. My church member just won't do right. Whatever the case may be, or my friends just threw me away. Whatever the case may be, or my job fired me and I really needed this job to provide for my family. You just feel helpless. You feeling hopeless. So now you're on the brink of sitting, thinking about these things that you shouldn't be thinking of, because people love you. Whether you realize or not, people love you. They cherish you. They admire you. They need you here for the long haul. You know, because not only do you need yourself, they need you as well. Trust me, you do make a difference. When you're not around, trust me, you make a difference. So we want you to understand, suicide is not the way. When you commit suicide, that's a selfish act. You're taking yourself from your family, from those who really love you and care for you. So don't resort to that. Before you decide to resort to something like that, again, get help. Get help. Get help. Get help. Because you need it. So we want to make sure you understand that there's medication out there that will help you, that will assist you, that will curb depression. It will curb the stress. It will curb the anxiety. So get the help that you need. Go seek help. So that's what I wanted you to understand tonight, and I'm glad that you tuned in with us on tonight. So what I want you to do is go and subscribe and like on our podcast, any of the podcasts that you see, that you can see these videos on. Tune in, rewatch them if you need to, and I would encourage you to do so. Also, go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe and like on there as well, and get ready and be tuned in for next week. We're still talking about different forms of mental health, so there'll be 2 more segments that we'll be dealing with this issue, and we'll be getting ready to air again next week on Monday at 7 p.m. So get on there, look it up, like and subscribe, and also give me some more topics that you would like for me to deal with. Even go on there and leave your comments. Let me know how we're doing, and you know, stuff like that, because we really want to know. We really want to know how well we're doing. We want to also get more topics that we can, you know, make sure we bring those topics to you so you can have the information that you need. So I'm excited that you have tuned in and sipped with us on tonight. Get ready for next week again, and we're looking forward to seeing you. And you all have a great day and a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're Sipping with Shakita. Let's talk.